Hey guys, this is your assignment 1 for science. It says properties of matter, and we did properties of matter all the way back in the fall, so you're going to really have to try to think hard on this one. It says do the try now, and it says use whatever balls you have available, and we'll talk about that in a second. What do you think in the reflect sections of STEMscopia? And I have also attached STEMscopia to your assignment. But it's this, okay? And I'm just going to tell you it's 6 pages, so it looks like a whole lot, but I'm going to explain it as I go. Okay, so you were supposed to do, basically you're doing these first, you're doing these first 4 pages. So the reflect. Henry had a splashing battle with his sister in the pool. It was so warm outside in the sun that the water drops dried from his skin within minutes when he got out of the pool. He was happy his mom put ice cubes in his lemonade. 6 months later, Henry was making snow angels in his backyard. When he got too cold, he went into his warm house. His mom gave him a mug of steaming hot chocolate. Each time Henry had fun playing with water. Even though the seasons were different, Henry enjoyed water in all 3 of its physical states, solid, liquid, and gas. How did Henry enjoy solid water during the summer? How about during the winter? How did Henry enjoy water as a liquid and a gas during each season? To answer these questions, you need to know the differences between solids, liquids, and gases. What are the differences between solids, liquids, and gases? And I'm hoping that you're answering these questions as I'm asking them. Remember that everything you see around you, including yourself, is a form of matter. Does water have matter? You bet. Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. Matter is made up of small particles. Matter is made is a solid, liquid, or gas based on how fast these particles are moving around. And I hope you remember us drawing this in your journals at the very beginning of the year, or in the fall. A solid, when the particles that make up an object are so close together that they cannot move around. That's what makes us solid. A liquid, when the particles that make up an object are close together, but they can still move and slide around each other, and they also take the shape of the container. Gas is when the particles that make up an object are completely separate so that they can bounce all around. When we think of water, we usually think of it as a liquid. However, water can also be a solid or a gas. When water is a solid, it is called ice. When water is a gas, it is called water vapor. The table on the next page shows water in each state of matter. So here's your solid, here's your liquid, and here is your gas. It has its own shape that does not change. This is a solid, and it does not move. The liquid takes the shape of the container, it fills, and then it flows towards the bottom. The gas, which is water vapor, expands to fill the entire container it is in and then moves easily in all directions. Remember Henry's summer fun? The pool water was a liquid. The ice in his lemonade was a solid. What was a gas? This is a little trickier. When Henry got out of the pool to have lunch, he was covered with water droplets, and they dried quickly in the hot sunlight. Did they disappear? No, they evaporated. This means the sun heated up the water and it turned into gas. Henry's winter fun also involved 3 states of matter. Why was Henry able to enjoy all 3 states of water in summer and winter? Water can change from one state of matter to another as the temperature rises and falls. And it says, look out! Is sand a liquid? After all, we can pour sand from a bucket. We can fill a container with sand. In fact, sand is thousands of solids. Each kernel of sand is like a very small rock. It cannot be molded. It does not lose its shape. What properties tell us if an object is a solid, liquid, or gas? Each object has its own properties that do not change. For example, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Every object will freeze and become solid at a certain temperature. Every object will boil and become a liquid or gas at another temperature. If you leave a chocolate bar in the back seat of a hot car, it will turn into a brown puddle of goo after a while. Because of this, we can say that temperature is a property of an object. And this was another one that you had to do. It says, what do you think? An object's temperature plays an important role in whether the object is a solid, liquid, or gas. Can you think of any other properties? Think about how you can tell that a table is a solid or that milk is a liquid. How can you tell that moving air or wind is a gas? How can we measure, test, and record different properties of matter? Have you ever been to an amusement park where someone offers to guess a person's weight? You probably tried to guess that person's weight too. Were you close? Sometimes your eyes can trick you. A person may appear to weigh 90 pounds, but really weigh 110 pounds. In science, that much difference can ruin an experiment. Instead, scientists rely on tools to measure an object's properties. Mass. An object's mass is different than its weight. Mass is the object of stuff or matter in an object. We use a balance scale to measure mass. Weight is a bit different. It refers to gravity's pull on an object. Think about astronauts jumping high on the moon. They weigh less than on Earth because the moon has less gravity. However, they are still made up of the same stuff, so they have the same mass. Both of these instruments are balance scales, and this is one and this is one. Even though both balances measure mass, they show mass in different ways. The scale on the left is a digital scale. The scale on the right is a triple beam balance that you operate by hand. Temperature. Heating or cooling an object can change its state of matter. You saw this with water. Temperature is a physical property that shows how much energy an object has. Heating an object increases its energy. Cooling an object decreases its energy. And remember that increasing means it goes up and decreasing means it goes down. Temperature of an object is measured with a thermometer. Magnetism. An object has magnetism if it contains certain metals such as iron. Magnets are attracted to magnetic objects. In other words, a magnetic pulls a magnetic object closer. If an object is not attracted to a magnet, it is non-magnetic. Density. To figure out an object's density related to other objects, first figure out if the object floats or sinks in water. Objects with greater density will sink in water. Objects with less density will float in water. And guys, if you'll remember our experiment that we did with aluminum boats, you'll remember all the density stuff. All right, so this is what they wanted y'all to try out now, okay? It says, the type of ball you use in a sport determines the way the sport is played. You can see this by trying a simple experiment with relative density. First, collect these balls, and this is where CSISD was saying that you can use like any different balls that you have at your house. Table, tennis ball, racket ball, golf ball, tennis ball, bouncy rubber ball, marble, and baseball. Those are just an example. Fill a clear container 2/3 full of water, which means it's a little bit more than half. Place each ball in the water to see if it floats or sinks. Record your results on a piece of paper. Which balls are less dense than water? Which balls are more dense than water? And remember that the more density it has, it does what? The less dense it is, it does what? One of them floats and one of them sinks. So look back up at page 3 for your answer with that. Okay, so those are the 3 that you were supposed to do for this assignment. If you have any questions or need any help, let me know.